Hello and welcome to this presentation on the near-death experience. I know it may sound like a scary subject to talk about because truly no one wants to talk or think about the inevitable. But if you're anything like me, learning and leaning into this topic will actually relieve a lot of the suffering that may surround it. Um, Actually, one of the reasons I'm creating this video, my intention is to bring more peace into your life about life and death, and to also bring incredible insights into the purpose of life here on earth in general. So I'm Sara Ajna, and today we're going to explore the fascinating and interesting insights gained from near death experiences, aka NDEs, and how they relate to hypnotherapy, especially interpersonal hypnotherapy. So, you can expect to learn about the common themes found in NDEs, the implications for personal healing, and the just profound connections to forgiveness, especially forgiveness and interpersonal relationships. All right. All right, here are the contents. So I'll just briefly walk you through the main points, including the characteristics of NDEs and how it's connected to the work that we do. Just the deep importance of forgiveness, compassion, love. So here you'll find the contents about me, introduction, what is an NDE, history. I'll just, give you a brief history. Integrating spiritual and secular perspectives, which I think is important to touch on. Exploring the parallels between NDEs and hypnotherapy. My purpose and mission, the near-death experience. I'll touch on some common themes and elements that frequently emerge with the near-death experience. Life review, which inspired me in so many ways. Spontaneous healing, NDEs, you and your clients, conclusion, and life review meditations. All right. So before we dive in and just go on this journey beyond time and space, I just want to take a moment to introduce myself. Actually, if you've come this far, you've probably already seen me in the advanced section in the school where Matthew and I do parts therapy and eye movement therapy. And at some point, I may have been your supervisor. Once again, I'm Sara Ajna, graduate of this incredible school. I graduated with a certificate in clinical, transpersonal, and more recently, I received my interpersonal hypnotherapist title, which I am extremely proud of. I've come such a long way. I'm also a supervisor for IIH, and I absolutely love it. If you've worked with me, I hope that I've made this process easier for you. I just love connecting with students and just helping them grow into thriving hypnotherapists. I have my private practice primarily online, so I do virtual sessions with the occasional in-person sessions, which I love. The way I found the school was really interesting. I was struggling, and I really just wanted a career for myself, something that would allow me to help others, something that I told myself. I was praying and I asked God, I said, God, please lead me to a career that is that involves heart work, right? Not hard work, but heart work. And all of a sudden, I had this idea, and yeah, I'm an avid reader, so I was like, what are these authors doing? What are their credentials? And I was led to one book, and it was a book on astral projection. And so I just, it was right in front of me, and I picked it up, and the author, I believe his name is Bruce Goldberg. Um, and I looked on the back and it said that he is a clinical hypnotherapist. And I was just like, what is that? And I did my research, and to my surprise, I see a school located in Florida. Um, and what do I see? The logo of the school is the heart chakra. And as I continued to, when I signed up and I was going through the training, I realized this is heart work. This is heart work. Hypnotherapy is heart work. So I'm just so blessed that my prayers were answered, and hypnotherapy just was waiting for me. And I truly believe that this work was made for me. I was made to be a hypnotherapist, an interpersonal hypnotherapist, guiding people back to wholeness, back to love, to forgive, because that's what life is all about. Life is forgiving, and I'll talk about that more later. Um, so I'm also a mother of two, and at the time of this video, I'm living in Central Florida, where I spend a lot of times outdoors, especially in the Florida springs. If you know me, I love the springs. It actually has inspired a lot of my work and my personal healing, truly. Um, yeah, so I really incorporate water and nature in the backdrop of my work, of everything that I do. Water is so um, important to me. There's a lot of symbolism behind water and where I come from, and my whole story. I won't get into that, but you can find my work on Instagram at wealthmind.hypnosis. The name might change in the future, but you can always search my name, Sara Ajna. It's not Anja. A lot of people make that mistake. It's Ajna, Ajna. You can Google me, you can easily find me. Um, so yeah, I'm always creating on Instagram some really calming um, reels. I do weekly Q&As on my Instagram, and I just share all that I'm doing hypnotherapy related. Um, yeah, and in addition to my work as a hypnotherapist, I'm also a certified yin yoga teacher, which allows me to blend the calming practices of yoga with the transformative power of hypnotherapy. Um, yeah, and also if you've heard any of my meditations, if you've been a part of my meditations, and really enjoyed them and want more, you can find more of that on my YouTube page at Wealth Mind Hypnosis. My content is growing every day. And if you like to read, I also keep my blog updated with interesting articles and blogs that I write on my website at wealthmindhypnosis.com. Um, I'm also an author, an illustrator of You Are the Universe. It's a kid's book for all ages. I like to describe it that way because it's true. Um, it's for adults really too, and the reason being is that it celebrates themes of oneness and love, and it connects you with that inner child that knows the truth of who they are. And truly, everything I do, everything I create reflects my belief in the interconnectedness of all beings, and just the healing potential that comes from embracing that unity. I create poetry and art and anything that helps me to express this deep love for helping humanity evolve. And let's see. Yeah, alongside my practice and artistic pursuits, I am a dedicated researcher of near death experiences. I've been doing this for over 10 years. My gosh, time flies. And like a lot of people, I am interested. I am very much interested in understanding why we are here and what happens after we die. You know, learning about this topic truly excites me. I get really excited. um, death, the concept of death, like, not in a morbid way, but just our purpose and where do we go after we die? Is there a higher power? Is there a God? And I find it so interesting. And the more that I learn about this subject, the softer my heart becomes. And everything I do is just tied into each other. And um, it's just you can relax. You can truly relax and not take life so seriously. It really can be so simple. So life is what you make it. And as you grow, you pick up gems along the way, gems of wisdom. And should you choose to incorporate those gems of wisdom into your life is up to you. That's free will, right? So, yeah, I'm super excited to share this journey with you and highlight how the elements of NDEs and hypnotherapy alike can inspire deep healing and connection, because there is a connection. There's a connection, or else I wouldn't be making this video. All right, let's move on. All righty. So, yeah, so like I said, in this video, we're going to explore the relationship between near death experiences and hypnotherapy, specifically focusing on their connection to interpersonal relationships and healing, especially the subject of forgiveness. It's one of my favorite subjects too, is forgiveness. And again, I'll touch more on that later in the video. So, at the core of both NDEs and hypnotherapy is a profound emphasis on how we treat one another, right? So, the interpersonal model values like forgiveness, love, compassion, and the sense of oneness that really binds us all. And through our work as hypnotherapists, we create a safe and compassionate space free of judgment, where clients can really reconnect with these powerful principles regardless of their past actions, right? So you'll soon see how showing up in this way also relates to what near death experiencers essentially experience when it comes to non judgment, compassionate, unconditional loving space. So, um, yeah, I just want to point out that while I don't claim to know exactly what happens um, after we die, um, the extensive research and patterns that I've collected and put together from NDE accounts, there's this pattern that keeps emerging, and it suggests a recurring theme that I believe is important to share, which is the transformative power of forgiveness, love, and unity. So, the goal of this video is to emphasize these themes because they hold the potential for deep healing and meaningful connection. Okay, so let's read the introduction. Welcome to this exploration of near death experiences and their profound connection to the practice of hypnotherapy. NDEs offer glimpses into states of consciousness beyond our everyday experiences, often described as transformative and deeply spiritual. These experiences can mirror the insights gained through hypnotherapy, where individuals access deeper layers of the mind, leading to healing and personal growth, in turn, deepening our connection with others. This presentation will uncover the parallels between NDEs and hypnotherapy, shedding light on how these profound experiences can enhance our understanding of our own consciousness and our interpersonal connection with the world around us. Okay, just see here. Okay. So, moving on to the next, to the next slide. Okay. So, what is an NDE? I'll read this here. An NDE, or near death experience, is a personal experience occurring to individuals who have been close to death or have undergone situations where death seemed imminent. NDEs are often characterized by a range of phenomena such as out of body experiences, a sensation of moving through a tunnel, seeing a bright light, encounters with deceased loved ones, light beings, and a review of one's life, etc. These experiences also often include sensations such as detachment from the body, feelings of levitation, total serenity, security, warmth, the experience of absolute dissolution, and the presence of a light. NDEs are widely reported across cultures and have been studied in fields such as medicine, psychology, and spirituality. These experiences can have profound effects on individuals, often leading to changes in their perspectives on life and death. Okay, right. So the amount of NDE reports that I've researched and studied is countless. It's countless. I will tell you that each individual account is incredibly unique. And there's a connection, there's this pattern, this unmistakable, profound pattern of connection that just emerges across all of them, even though their experience is unique. There is a pattern that keeps coming up. And so it's like a puzzle piece, putting the puzzle pieces together. And, at first, my curiosity with NDEs was to gain a better understanding of what happens when we die. But over time, that curiosity evolved into a deep passion. And I found that there was more to it than, oh, what happens when we die, or what happens after we die. There's so much more to it. And as I started to piece together the the puzzle of these unique experiences, I gained insight into a larger picture of the higher power at play. It really made me think about what's really important, and that it's all about relationships, just like hypnotherapy. So as we continue more, you'll see what I'm talking about. So the more I learn, the more I realize how much there is still to discover. And honestly, this is a subject that truly, truly deserves to be shared and explored in depth. So I'm really excited to reveal the deeper truths and connections that these extraordinary experiences offer, And they're so simple too, even though they're deeper truths. It's like simple truths. It's kind of like common sense. It's like, oh yeah, like when you hear it, it's like a truth that resonates. It's a remembering, and that's what healing is. It's a remembering. And when you remember, there's this resonance in your heart, in your body, where you're just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. so so yeah, I'm truly excited to share this. The wisdom and the deeper truths connected to these extraordinary experiences you just wouldn't believe. Um, and like I said, you're not going to be. It's not something that's new that you're learning. It's it's more like a remembering, right, of what spirit knows and is important and prioritizes above all else. So, each report adds a new layer to our understanding of the interconnectedness that binds us all. All right, moving on. Ooh, the history. Yay, we all love history. I love history. I don't know about you, but I love history. History is awesome. Something I realized is, I don't know if this is like statistics, but men really enjoy history. Like I noticed a lot of men are really interested in history. So this one's for you. I'm joking. But yeah, this is going to be brief. Um, it's important to touch on the history of things, especially if you're talking about an important subject. So I'll be brief. Um, yeah, so essentially, NDEs have been occurring since the beginning of time, right? We can say that. They've been reported throughout history, different cultures, with references found in ancient texts, such as the Tibetan Book of the Dead and Plato's Republic, where Plato describes a soldier's experience of seeing the afterlife. And each account often includes similar frequent themes like traveling through a tunnel, encountering a bright light, uh, meeting with spiritual beings, which I'll also be covering. So, since the beginning of time, these themes are coming up. So, it's something that we really should be looking into. There's something there. There are deeper truths that are right in our faces, that is trying to tell us something. So, yeah, so the Tibetan Book of the Dead, Plato's Republic, there's other things too, but keeping it brief. And then modern research on NDEs began in the 1970s when Dr. Raymond Moody, which you probably have heard of, he published a book called Life After Life. It's a popular book that you're probably familiar. I think is it one of the recommended readings in IIH? It could be wrong, but it's a good book. And in that book, Moody detailed common elements reported by people who had come close to death. And actually, the book Life After Life popularized the term near-death experience. And it just sparked, a widespread interest in NDEs and further investigation into it, which, as they should. And, it really encouraged those who have been questioning their experience and keeping quiet about it to feel safe to open up about their experience with the relief that they're just not alone. And also, I'll touch more about that later as well, because that is also an important thing to talk about. People who've had NDEs suffer quite a lot because, yeah, I'll touch on that. So yeah, and then since then, there have been studies, that explored the psychological, physiological, and spiritual aspects of NDEs, with researchers like Dr. Kenneth Ring and Dr. Bruce Grayson. Um, yeah, they actually developed standardized methods to study these experiences, which I think is so cool. And yeah, now NDs are widely recognized across cultures and religions. It's not taboo to talk about anymore. And there are ongoing debates about whether NDEs indicate an afterlife or if they're purely neurological events triggered by the brain during moments of crises. Um, my personal opinion um, is that there is an afterlife. um, it's just hard to deny it, like, there has to be a higher, metaphysical realm with, that has like a different set of universal laws. I don't know. Um, there are people who can access these realms, like shamans. So you don't necessarily have to be on the verge of death or have to be in danger in order to gain access or to experience these higher realms. I personally know people like Matthew Brownstein who have encountered out of body astral travel and encountered, other benevolent beings. Um, yeah, I was going to say something else about this. It'll come back to me. Mm, all right. All righty. Let's go to the next. All right. Integrating spiritual and secular perspectives. Like I said, I think this is something that is important to touch on. Mainly to bridge the gap between those who may not identify as spiritual, because it involves emphasizing, the universal benefits of principles like forgiveness, letting go in general, self compassion, love, connection to each other, regardless of one's beliefs. I truly believe, and I'm sure you'll agree, that these concepts can significant, significantly enhance mental and emotional well-being, which helps with the physical. Um, things like, letting go of, the past pain, negative emotions. Um, it's just not beneficial to hold on to these things. It makes you sick. It makes you unhappy, and you disconnect from yourself. And that's where suffering is. It's where illness comes in, dis-ease. So, simply to let it go, let these things go, it just helps reduce stress and anxiety, which in turn allows a person to live more fully in the present, just happy. Um, and forgiveness, you know, both towards oneself and others. It just frees the person from the weight of resentment and regret, and truly fosters um, a sense of liberation. And practicing self compassion, that promotes a healthier self image, and it encourages resilience. And it just helps people approach challenges with kindness rather than self criticism, you know? So, yeah, as I was saying, these principles are essential and absolutely accessible to everyone. And the best part is that it's free. So, yeah, these principles offer practical tools for personal growth, improved relationships, and just an overall better quality of life, regardless of one's spiritual or religious beliefs, right? Simple, You don't have to be a spiritual being to implement these principles into your life to be happier, to enhance your emotional, mental, physical well-being. And even if there wasn't an afterlife, even if there was no God, these principles just feel lighter. Like, don't you want to feel lighter? I sure do. I don't want to hold on to any negativity towards myself or others. I just want to have a light, happy, peaceful heart. All righty. Moving on to the next slide. All righty. Exploring the parallels between NDEs and hypnotherapy. Okay, introduction. All right, so there's a deep connection, both near-death experiences, NDEs, excuse me, and hypnotherapy provide profound insights into the human mind, spirit, and the importance of interpersonal connections. Right, shared themes such as reviewing past memories, forgiveness, spiritual awakening, and a realization of purpose frequently emerge in both NDEs and hypnotherapy. Purpose of this presentation will explore how these experiences intersect, offering valuable lessons for healing, personal growth, and transformation. Reading. So, exploring the parallels between NDEs and hypnotherapy continued. The connection between NDEs and hypnotherapy. There's a shared states of consciousness. Both NDEs and hypnotherapy facilitate access to non-ordinary states of consciousness. These states often reveal deep insights, personal truths, and profound emotional experiences. Healing and transformation. NDEs are often described as life-changing events that lead to greater self-awareness, spiritual awakening, and a renewed sense of purpose. Similarly, hypnotherapy can guide individuals through transformative journeys, unlocking the subconscious mind to promote healing and change. Common themes such as reviewing past memories, encounters with higher consciousness, and a shift in perspective are prevalent in both NDEs and hypnotherapy sessions. All right, the role of forgiveness in NDEs and hypnotherapy. Forgiveness in NDEs. Many individuals who experience NDEs report encountering a profound sense of unconditional love and forgiveness. This often leads to release of long-held grudges of guilt. This often leads to release of long-held grudges or guilt, fostering deep emotional healing. Forgiveness in hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy can be a profound tool for guiding clients through the process of forgiveness, whether it's forgiving themselves or others. This release is crucial for overcoming emotional blockages, reducing stress, and promoting overall well-being. The healing power of letting go. Both NDEs and hypnotherapy highlight the importance of letting go of past hurt to move forward in life with peace and clarity. Okay. All right. So yeah, that was a lot of reading. All right. I hope I didn't bore you on that. All right. One of the, main intentions of this video, right, is to highlight and emphasize and reiterate and underline and point out, and you get it, the significance of forgiveness. Forgiveness is the fastest way to set yourself free. The word free is found in the word forgiveness. Just take a look here. There's freedom in forgiveness. So I'm sure you've heard Matthew talk about forgiveness over and over again. Hypnotherapy at its core is forgiveness work, and that is hard to work. So the miracle is rooted in forgiveness. The miracle is rooted in forgiveness. The foundation of this work is forgiveness work. And I want to share a story, right? So, not to make this about religion, we can see it more like a metaphor or a story. But I want you to consider the story of Adam and Eve. Okay. God told them, God prohibited them from eating from the forbidden fruit, right? And what happens? You know the story, right? They failed. They failed. They're human. That's the point, right? We're human, we're flawed, we're not perfect. We make mistakes. And before I go on, I want to share I'm Middle Eastern. So the word in Arabic for human is insan. Insan. It's kind of close to insane. Insan is human in Arabic. And the word for to forget is nesyan. Insan and nesyan. So we are designed to be flawed. We are designed to forget so that when we remember, it is divine. So, yeah, so going back to the story. So, they failed, they ate from the fruit. And in the story, when they, you know, disobeyed God, what does God do? Which is what was part of God's plan all along. It was in that moment that God took that opportunity to teach Adam and Eve how to seek forgiveness. And they immediately turned to God. They immediately turned to God, asked for his forgiveness. And what happens next? It, it was followed by immediate divine forgiveness. Forgiveness is forgiving. It's forgiving. So, do you see what God did there in this story? God was showing us the purpose of life. God is so merciful, right? So whether you're religious or not, this is just based on research. This is a story. You can see it as a story. But God was showing us the purpose of life with this story. So, God is merciful. The verse, ask and you shall receive, is so true. What if the whole point of this life is forgiving? What if the point of this story was to help us understand the divine mercy of forgiveness and the freedom found in it? Someone once said, if you want to perform a miracle, forgive yourself. And I'll also include forgive others as well. Essentially, when you forgive yourself, you can easily forgive others, because I think it's easier to forgive others than it is to forgive ourselves, since we are our worst critic. Um, so yeah, forgiveness is forgiving, and you want to give it away freely, because when you do, you set yourself free. You've heard Matthew Brownstein, quote a verse in the Bible, forgive 70 times 7. It's not literally 70 times 7, it's just emphasizing on the unconditional forgiveness that God is asking of you. If God can forgive, so can you. And, not just forgiveness, but your soul God given gifts, right? Those are forgiving as well. So be free in your giving. Be free in your giving with no expectations, because you are provided for, you are taken care of. Because what do you do with gifts? what do you do with gifts? You give them away. Gifts are for giving. And speaking of gifts, ladies, okay, I was just talking about the men earlier, but ladies, I want you to start seeing yourself as divine gifts, because when Adam was created, he was created alone and he prayed to God for a companion. And God gave Adam Eve, and Eve was a gift from God to Adam. So, ladies, you are the prize. Okay, start to see yourself as the gift. And, not just to talk about women, but, because, women, tend to more often than not, more often than men, to see themselves as not good enough, not beautiful, you know, how media standardizes beauty. So you are the gift. You are a gift. Um, I'm going to say something else about that as well. Oh, there's so much to talk about. It just goes poof. Um, yeah. Oh, I was going to say that, we are all born with gifts. Some may have many gifts, some may have one gift, and that one gift, they're amazing at that gift. But when God, creator, source, universe, and I don't really like to say universe anymore because the universe is just a creation, it's not the creator. So why are we limiting ourselves to the universe? There's bigger. So when you are blessed with these gifts, you give them away. And so I often give away free sessions. Oh, I give away free sessions all the time, because hypnotherapy is one of my gifts. And I would do this for free. I think I'm really, really good at it. And I'm happy to give gifts away, and I always do. I'm such a giving person by nature. Um, so you can be so giving with your gifts and without expectations, just trusting, knowing that you are good, you are provided for, that you can be so giving. Life is forgiving. Life is forgiving. So give and forgive. This is the purpose of life. So, okay, moving forward. So I hope you like that. There's freedom in forgiveness. As you can see, the word free in forgiveness. So, moving on, as hypnotherapists, right? You are likely already aware that holding on to negative emotions and experiences, like I said before, can lead to suffering and even physical illness. Excuse me. I don't know why when I talk a lot, I'm like burping. Hold on. Excuse me. I am a soul having a human experience. Okay, so I just love this color, green. It's so pretty. Different shades of green. So I just want to also touch on, I'm not here to convince you of anything, nor am I trying to recruit you into any religion. Absolutely not. That's not me. Um, I truly believe at the core of all religions is one truth, and that is what I believe in. So all of this is based purely on research. And, as Matthew Brownstein often says, take what you like and leave what you don't. So you don't have to believe in the concept of a soul. But if we pass away still burdened by unresolved pain, we may just carry that state of consciousness with us, according to this model of research. And it's true. I mean, it's true. I've seen it time over and over again. Those who have lived a life disconnected from love, you know, tend to have a violent passing. They are attached to this world. And those who are at peace with themselves, connected to love, they tend to go with a smile. And nurses in hospitals that experience this every day can tell you that there is a difference. So some who pass violently, they don't want to go. There is this foul smell that comes from them. And those who die peacefully, there's a sweet fragrance that comes from them. So it's really interesting, right? So, as I said, I'm not here to convince you of anything. This is just research that I am presenting to you, something that is deeply rooted um, in common sense, really, just something that is rooted in the universal principles that fundamentally are connected to love and kindness and compassion and forgiveness, and all of these things just feel so light. It just feels so light, and that's how you want to live your life. And so yeah, and as you learn about past life regressions, you'll see the process and the protocol that we work to resolve those negative emotions and beliefs that one passes away with. So you don't want to hold on to heavy pains. You really don't. If you are still here, okay, obviously, if you're watching this video, if you're still here, take full advantage of forgiveness, right? If God can forgive you simply just by asking, so can you. Okay. In fact, if you only knew the way God, creator, source, perceives you, you'd never hesitate to forgive yourself and others again. And you would hold yourself in the highest esteem. And, this is why we do truth talk with our clients. And, we help them see that their thinking is erroneous and that the true reality is pure love. And we connect them with that. So once you realize who you really are, you'll never hold another false belief about yourself and others again. So with my clients, oh man, I love truth talk, love eye movement therapy. Um, so with my clients, I help them shift from believing, which holds the word lie. So let me go here, see over here. The word believe, right, which holds the word lie, to knowing, right? Shift them from belief to know. Excuse me. So just, right, take a good look at these two words. So beliefs can be built on conditioning, assumptions, illusions. Beliefs are often inherited, taught, absorbed without questioning. And they may or may not align with truth. So, in that sense, beliefs can create separation from direct experience, right? Now, the word know, KNOW, contains the word now, implying that knowing arises from presence, from awareness in the moment, right? So true knowing isn't secondhand or theoretical, it's experiential. It doesn't rely on faith. It it emerges from direct connection, from direct experience, from intuition and clarity, and this is truth. So, there's a moment in a session where the veil lifts and a client is connected to the source of who they are. So, again, why limit yourself to the universe when you have multitudes of universes within you? And, why limit ourselves to even that? Just go straight to source. And the way we do that is through forgiveness, through forgiving. Life is for giving. And so when we give our gifts away as an act of love and service, oh, we are so directly connected to God, so directly connected to the source energy within us. So, yeah. So, yes, a belief can be a lie that you tell yourself to feel safe or certain, which is okay for the moment. While knowing is what you uncover when you're present, when you're open and aligned. Live in truth, not illusion. What is truth? Love. What is illusion? Fear and separation. So don't just believe in yourself, know in yourself. Shift from believing to knowing. And I hope that you understand this concept. I love words. I love word play. I love finding hidden meanings in words, and kind of just being artistic in that way. So believe contains the word lie right there, right in the middle, and knowing contains the word now. And all there is now. All right. So, yes, this is just some of my art. That I wanted to share here. It says here, if it's not love, it's not the truth. And I have an Instagram page that I kind of, left alone. I haven't really posted on that, but it was all my art, and you'll see it's all heart stuff. It's the heart space. That's what it's called, the heart space. But if you see over here, this heart here and how it emerges into infinity, it kind of like undresses itself into infinity. And then love is for giving. If you ever find yourself visiting the past, make sure it's for healing, not holding. I wrote this way before I became a hypnotherapist, even before I even knew what hypnotherapy was. So my art, my life was, there was a little bit of foreshadowing there, which is so cool. Things come around full circle. That just goes to show that you are whole and complete. To be at one with nature is to learn the art of letting go, have trust. So yeah, I made this rose. I used to make so much more art, but now I make art with hypnotherapy. And I truly believe that hypnotherapy is such an art. It's like you're painting the subconscious mind, with truth and love. And truly, you're really uncovering um, the truth. So, another thing I like to call myself is a heartist. I'm a heartist. I paint the world with love. Here's this little character over here, shadow person recognizing their heart. And then you can see what they're doing with that infinite love. So cute. And then here, the world is a reflection of you. Isn't it beautiful? You are beautiful. And the moon is a reminder that no matter what phase I'm in, I am still whole. Some of these quotes went viral on Instagram, which was really cool at the time that I was, creating these quotes and posting. Anyways, so alrighty, exploring the parallels between NDEs and hypnotherapy. All right. All right. So before I talk about this, I just want to continue talking about something else. So there's this book called The Holographic Universe. I always bring it up because it's one of my favorite books, if not my favorite book. Oh, it's so cool, so interesting. It makes you feel like you have superpowers, which you do. But in this book by Michael Talbot, highly recommend. There's a 7-year-old's account of his NDE, and he says that dying is like entering your mind. And this is a child that claims this, and there have been many children who have talked about their NDEs, and also like reincarnation stories, which are fascinating. If you want more information on that, I believe Dr. Ian Stevenson, he he did a lot of research on reincarnation and their connection to birthmarks. He says that birthmarks are actually wound marks or death marks, indicating a past life. And oh, he's done research. He's found, these children have um, given names and like uh, information that like how would they know this? And so he'll do his research and he'll find that, say, let's say the child has like a birthmark on their forehead or something, and this child will have a memory of a past life where he was at war or whatever, and he got shot, right there. And so the doctor will do his research, he'll search the name, all the information, and he'll find that yes, this person existed. There's so many stories, so moving on. But children can be extremely credible when it comes to this stuff. And I think that it's due to the notion that they are still so connected with the world that they were just so freshly yeeted out of, for lack of better words. Um, so yeah, all of this to say, it's essential to to really learn how to release these burdens so we can live more lightly and freely and essentially at peace, which is what we're all searching for. And that's what hypnotherapy offers. Um, and that peace is found in the solution of wholeness and, recognizing wholeness, recognizing that we are whole. And, by doing so, we allow our souls or our consciousness, whatever term resonates with you, to move forward without regrets, ready to embrace whatever comes next, So forgiveness equals peace equals health. Touching on wholeness, the book, The Holographic Universe, has an example of, he talks about, one second. Okay, sorry, my son needed me. My son's gonna be 16 years old. Oh my gosh, he's growing so fast. Um, as I was saying, in the holographic universe, touching on wholeness, he describes like a hologram, right? So imagine that you're projecting an image of an apple, and you take that holographic plate or film, I forgot what it's called, and you just shatter it and you break it into a million tiny pieces. And if you take one piece of that shattered piece and you project it, it's going to project the whole image of the apple. So it goes to show that we are not broken. It's just an illusion, that you are still whole no matter what. You can never be broken. The heart chakra, anahat, is um, translated to unstruck. And I really truly believe that that could mean that you're whole. Like you cannot change who you truly are, no matter what. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody could take the wholeness away from you. There might be an illusion that you're separate. There might be an illusion that you're broken or fragmented, but it's just an illusion. The truth is you are whole. So, yeah. So as you can see, The goal of this video is to inspire you to just let go, cultivate a sense of freedom within, that can profoundly, impact both your current life and, whatever lies beyond. Even if you don't believe in a soul, the simple act of letting go of past pains just feels better. It feels lighter. It just does. I think we can all agree on that. And like I said, we ultimately seek peace. And at the end of the day, that's what we all want. We just want to rest in the wholeness of who we are. And, this is inner peace. All righty. So let's read this here. So, life review in NDEs and hypnotherapy. Life review in NDEs. During NDEs, many individuals report experiencing a life review where they see significant moments of their lives flash before them, often from a heightened perspective. This review is often accompanied by a deep sense of understanding, empathy, and a realization of the impact of their actions on others. Tapping into memories in hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy can facilitate a similar process where clients are guided to revisit past experiences and gain new insights into their actions, feelings, and relationships. This process helps individuals resolve inner conflicts, find closure, and promote personal growth. Integration and healing. Both NDEs and hypnotherapy encourage individuals to integrate these insights into their daily lives, fostering forgiveness, compassion, and a more conscious way of living. Okay. So, right. So, life reviews. Let me catch a breath before I start this one because this concept of life reviews has been really inspiring to me. Life reviews are interesting to say the least. And they often come up in discussions about near death experiences. Now, from my research, not everyone goes through a life review. But for those who do, it's usually described as this incredible and profound and transformative process. So during a life review, people find themselves reflecting on their actions and choices throughout their entire lives. And what's interesting is that these reviews isn't like a dry recap. Oh, no, 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 no. You are mistaken if you think that, because it is felt intensely from every perspective and every angle. It's like they're seeing and experiencing and feeling their life experiences. I don't know why when I breathe, it's like, what's going on? I don't know if you can hear my breathing. It sounds like I'm struggling to breathe. Oh no, am I about to have a near-death experience? So as I was saying, these individuals, when they're going through their life review, they are experiencing it from multiple perspectives, almost like they're stepping into someone else's shoes. So they get to experience the emotions and consequences of their actions on others, which can be extremely eye-opening. And yeah, so here's where it gets even more intriguing, okay? These life reviews are often facilitated by light beings. And these light beings, right, we'll call them light beings, they hold space for these individuals with so much compassion and so much just unconditional love and just guiding and supporting them throughout the process without any judgment. And what I find so special about this is that it really reminds me of what we do as hypnotherapists. Um, I tell Matthew all the time, I describe this work as the work of angels, where we hold that same space filled with love, compassion, and non judgment during our sessions. I actually noticed this when I was going through the training. When we were doing the practicum hours, I did it in house, which was so profound and just beautiful. Um, it reminded me of these light beings facilitating a life review. Like we're all just holding loving, compassionate space. Oh, I have so many stories about this. Yeah, so it's one of my favorite things about being a hypnotherapist is just simply holding that loving, compassionate space for my clients where they feel safe and seen and heard, which I hear all the time. My clients are just like, I've never felt so held and seen and heard. And it's just so touching. But like just supporting your clients without judgment, it's so important to me. And I think and I know it's part of the healing process. Just to simply hold space. It don't underestimate the power of holding space, because um, that right there, even if you just sit in silence with them, it does so much more than you think. So yeah, um, experiencing a life review for these NDErs um, can lead to some serious personal growth, and they always come back from it with a deeper understanding of their motivations, their intentions, their regrets, and the ripple effect of their behavior. Oh, the ripples. um, yeah, and it's just a really powerful moment for these individuals that really changes how they see themselves, the world, and their relationships with others. So, once again, the interpersonal model. Um, a life review, I believe, is ultimately an opportunity for us to realize how interconnected we all are and to reflect on the importance of kindness, compassion, forgiveness, all things love. And the fact that these beautiful people can come back and share their message allows us to also reflect. We don't have to experience an NDE to implement this wisdom in our own lives. Excuse me. Oh, I'm going to be burping throughout this whole video. I have coffee here too. Let me take a sip. Probably should have water, which is like way over there. One second. Okay. So let me gather my thoughts. Right. So also, one major important message that is often mentioned is the concept of choice. That we all have a choice, that every moment we get to choose, and every choice that we make creates a profound, and I mean profound, I can't even emphasize just how profound a ripple effect, not just in our lives, but the lives of those around us. And it just continues to ripple into the universe for all of eternity. And we truly don't even realize how much we affect one another. If you listen or you read about these NDE stories, you would be amazed at how much even the smallest things we do affect each other. Look at children, they absorb everything. They look at their parents or their caregivers and they take on everything, even the smallest things that, when they become adults, they come see us for. And we go back to a memory and it's like, oh, that was such a small thing I totally forgot about. I just didn't realize that it had that effect on me. So, yeah, we really don't even realize how much we affect one another. And, learning about NDEs made me realize this on a level that really makes you think about all your actions. Um, just like a simple smile at a stranger crossing your path, it just like it creates this ripple effect into the universe that you're like completely oblivious to. Not you, I'm just speaking in general. And vice versa. When you hurt someone or you say something mean or you give a mean look and maybe that person was having a bad day and you looked at them funny and it really hurt them, it creates a huge impact. And that when you see clients and they come with their issues and you take them to a memory that may have seemed harmless but created this impact that carried into their adult lives and affected their behavior, affected their experiences, affected their relationships. So, yes, be very intentional with how you show up, not just for yourself, but for others as well. Um, because truly, you don't realize how much your presence makes a difference, and you know that feeling in your heart when you do something nice for others. That like feeling, that fluttering feeling when your heart is opening. That's God. That's heaven expanding. And yeah, so we can talk more about the life review in the next upcoming slides. Okay, spiritual awakening and the search for purpose. All right, so you can read this one on your own, and I'll just discuss. Here. So, okay, so based on my research, I'd say that 100% of the time, 100% of the time, those who come back from near-death experiences seem to have a shared mission, right? Expressed in their own unique way, you know, through their own individual gifts. And that mission is fundamentally rooted in being a messenger of love. When they have a direct experience, right, that knowing with source, they are flooded with truth and there's no running away from it. There's no running away from it. And when they come back, if they are not aligned with the truth, if they're not living their truth, they are suffering deeply. And that goes for everyone. For everyone. We all have a shared mission, not just NDEers. But these NDEers they have a direct experience with truth. And they live to tell the story and to share. And that's part of their mission. So also what's really interesting is that some NDEers, they come back with heightened abilities, like psychic gifts or enhanced intuition, and they often find themselves being able to communicate with the other side. I find that the more I do the work of hypnotherapy, the more clients I see, that my psychic abilities, which, by the way, we all have, is enhanced. Um, I often can feel what my clients feel, usually, you know, the night before I even see them. Um, so, yeah. So, another common theme is the release of fears around death. Many of these people express a deep longing to return to what they refer to as home because they describe a profound and transformative love that they feel they've never experienced on earth. They experience a love and kindness that just doesn't exist here on earth. Um, so, yeah. And unfortunately, this incredible sense of peace and freedom they felt during their experience can lead to a depression once they return because they often struggle to integrate those feelings back into their earthly lives. Um, yeah, the integration process can take years. It can take years. And what's also unfortunate is that a lot of these individuals choose to keep their experiences to themselves, often out of fear of rejection and ridicule from others, which is common from physicians, family members, spouses. Um, there have been many accounts where these individuals were forced to be sent to mental health facilities, psychiatric hospitals, simply for sharing their experience. And yeah, it's traumatic. It's a complex journey, and it can be very traumatic. I mean, come on, like they just died and saw God. Um, and yeah, so this experience can just profoundly change how they perceive life, their soul and their ultimate mission and purpose here on earth. So imagine that these individuals just went through this life altering experience and are excited to share their experience only to be met with hostility. That's really sad. How can you share a deeply profound and loving message when there is the fear, you know, and chance of being Baker acted? So, yeah, talk about complicated. All right, moving forward. There I am. My purpose and mission. Be kind to all. Love. Smile. Smiley face. Look how silly this smiley face is. It's so cute with its fat face. But yeah, so, you know, through my mission and not through my mission, through my research, um, not just NDEs, but like everything, all the research that I've collected and the wisdom, the books and all that. But, specifically NDEs, you know, through my research and ultimately connecting the dots, I realized that, like I said earlier, we all have a shared mission. We all have a shared mission that's meant to be expressed through our unique soul, God given gifts. And that mission, like I expressed earlier, is rooted in love. And we extend that love through service. I wholeheartedly know, not just believe, I know it is my calling and mission to share the profound messages that near death experiencers offer. I want to be a living and walking reminder for people to live lightly with open hearts. And although I haven't personally experienced an NDE, that doesn't deter me from sharing my research and passion for this work. Truly, if I can help even one person let go of shame, guilt, anger, resentment, pain, regret, and guide them toward a life filled with more peace, joy, love, compassion, forgiveness, then I have fulfilled my purpose. And I could die in peace knowing that even the smallest acts of love and kindness, which is the most important thing, it's always the small acts of love and kindness, um, you know, contributed to what is most important. Everyone's purpose is the same, and that's leading each other back home to love through our own unique, beautiful gifts. Imagine if we all had the same gifts, that'd be boring. So we were gifted all different kinds of gifts as ways to lead each other home. How creative is that? That's beautiful. So, my goal is to use this knowledge um, and wisdom to support you in moving towards peace and love, while also expanding your understanding. Um, this school offers so many resources and information. And this is just another aspect of that understanding and wisdom that you can integrate into your own lives. Um, so I hope you're enjoying this video and all the gems that I'm offering, because to me this is just this is what it's all about. Yeah, so and I hope that I'm not just assisting you, but by assisting you that you can also assist your clients and loved ones in bringing more kindness into the world. All right, let's move forward. Okay, near death experience. I love this part. I love the descriptions of the afterlife. It's my favorite thing to learn about. Um, it's just so interesting and so beautiful and like also kind of scary, but beautiful, right? So here is what the process is like according to my research. Just note that it doesn't always go this way. These are just the common themes and elements that I've found to come up frequently. So, okay, starting with the first one. So once a person, is clinically or, stated as clinically dead or whatever the case, what happens is in these common themes, experiencing an out of body state, observing from an elevated perspective, soaring through walls, gliding over buildings, and ascending into the sky, possessing the ability to hear others' thoughts and witness both the living and departed souls. The feeling is one of freedom and vitality, and their consciousness remains intact. Some simply transition by shutting their eyes and then reopening them, discovering themselves on the other side. So some don't always go, have this out of body state. Some just kind of pass away. And then all of a sudden they're in a new realm. So there's this book by psychic Echo Bodine. The book is called What Happens After We Die. I believe I have an image of it, in the next upcoming slides. I share some books. But in this book, she talks about what it feels like to die. And she describes it as, imagine wearing a costume, right? This heavy, hot costume. Imagine wearing this heavy, hot costume for 60, 70, 80, 90 years. And you're just dragging this costume around for all these years. Now imagine taking that costume off. That's what it feels like to die. Sounds like a relief. Oh man. So yeah, and a lot of people say that. A lot of people struggle to come back. And I'll talk about it more as we go on. So number 2, swiftly passing through a tunnel. Remember, these are just common themes and elements. Not everyone goes through this. This tunnel has been characterized in various ways, including dark, illuminated, colorful, velvety, and more. You name it. It's been described. Then they find themselves in a dark void. Sometimes they don't go through a tunnel. Sometimes they find themselves in this void. It's kind of like the womb of the universe or the womb of God. I don't know. So the dark void, they discover themselves in a dark space. It's not frightening. It's never been described as scary. Rather, it's warm, loving, safe, and serene, like a baby in the womb. They sense the presence of a higher power, God, if that's what you want to call it. Where did I see? Oh, it was an NDE account where this person, it was a woman, she was experiencing God, and she was asking God questions, and she was asking, what are you called? Like, what would you rather be called? And God said, it doesn't matter what you call me, so long as you call me. That just like, it's so cute. Doesn't matter what you call this. Names you cannot put a name to it. This is how powerful this source is, this creator. As Matthew says, you didn't create yourself. You've probably seen in the video with me and him. He's like, did you create yourself? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I was so like, I don't even know who that person is. But yeah, so it doesn't matter what you call God, so long as you call God. And I encourage you not to call this source universe, because the universe is just a creation. It's not the creator. And again, why limit ourselves to just the universe, right? Dream big, all right? Dream big, because God can fund it. God can fund it. We have to make this light somehow. I'm just joking. This whole thing just feels light. I hope so, because when I learn about NDEs, I just feel so much peace. I'm just like, oh, I could just relax. I could just, I don't have to take life so seriously. All right. So after the dark void, a pinprick of light, right? So they're in this dark space. They can sense this higher presence. And now there's this pinprick of light, and it gradually expands toward them, with some even able to communicate with it. They observe space and stars, experiencing 360-degree vision. Can you imagine that? 360-degree vision, where they can zoom in and out of various elements. I've had dreams of heaven or afterlife where, oh, it's huge, it's expansive, and I'm focusing on one thing. And this often comes up where you can focus on one thing and then you just like zoom in it and you can see all the details. So yeah, they can zoom in and out of various elements, can travel quickly. Throughout this experience, they retain their unique personalities, which is funny. when you there's a story where this woman, she is having this NDE, and she realized that she's dead, and she's standing before God, and she's just like, having this telepathic communication with God, and she's just like, what the fuck? What the fuck happened? And then she realized, like, oh, it's still me. Like, this is still me. So you're not someone else. You still have your personality, which I think is so cute. Okay, so right, so after that, and then right, so discovering oneself in a stunning environment. Hold on, let me see where it was. Okay, yeah. And then they discover themselves in a stunning environment, be it a meadow, a garden, or bustling cities adorned with majestic marble buildings, feeling more alive and real than anything they experienced on Earth. So some people, they don't um, go through that. Sometimes they just, close their eyes, open their eyes, and then here they are on the other side. Some individuals endure hellish experiences before they find themselves in a space of tranquility. I just heard like a sound back there. So let me read that again. Some individuals endure hellish experiences before they find themselves in a space of tranquility. Okay, so, you know, from my research, I noticed that those who experience these hellish experience, or even just any experience, not even hellish, but I think the reason why everyone's experience is unique and different is based on their own beliefs. So if you believe in Jesus, you'll see Jesus. If you believe in Krishna, you'll see Krishna. Um, there are actually people who don't necessarily believe in Jesus and still meet Jesus. In Islam, God says, I am what my servant thinks I am. I think that's so cool. It kind of goes hand in hand with this new age, like you are what you believe. So in Islam, God says, I am what my servant thinks I am. So if you believe that God is kind, loving, merciful, compassionate, all forgiving, then that's what you'll experience. On the other hand, if you believe that that is reserved only for specific people, then you're going to experience that as well, until you realize that God is for all. Because we all come from the same source. Everyone fights like, oh, my God is the true God and your God is a false God. And it's just like, it's really just one God, just one. There's just one. and that's source energy, and that's where we all come, and that's where we're all going to go back. So yeah, doesn't matter your race, your religion, your background, we essentially come from the same source. And it's usually when these individuals experience this hell, um, that the second they call upon God, God is right there, taking them right out of it. I've seen it time and time again where these individuals will experience hell, and it'll feel like an eternity because time is different there. And the second they call on this higher power, instantly, just like in the story of Adam and Eve, when they sought repentance, God granted them immediately divine mercy and forgiveness. So ask and you shall receive. Um, so this can also serve as a great metaphor for how the mind can create heaven or hell on earth. And it all comes down to choice, like I said earlier. All right, continuing. 6, connect with guides. So After, all that, they connect with guides, light beings, loved ones who have passed, ancestors. Some see Jesus. They embody a space filled with love and compassion, free from judgment. Um, Number 7, these light beings facilitate a life review experience. Many individuals describe witnessing scenes displayed on a movie like screen. So that often comes up, these like screens that come up. Um, Life reviews are profoundly immersive. They observe their lives as if watching a film while being fully engaged in it. They perceive their experiences from multiple angles and perspectives and emotionally resonate with every perspective. It inspires people to seek positive change. Number 8, presented with guidance, provided with answers, introduced to past lives, taken on a little tour, shown the library where all records are kept. That's a big one. They're taken to this like massive, beautiful hall of knowledge, the Akashic records, if also known as. Time seems to move slower. Um, right. Number 9, when faced with the option to return or remain, some individuals are instructed that they must go back and cannot stay just yet. There's often a sense of hesitation as they would prefer to remain. They even argue with God or light beings. This comes up a lot. So usually they have the option. So those, God, Jesus, whatever, light beings will ask, do you want to stay? Do you want to stay with us? Or do you want to go back? And usually the ones that come back, obviously they chose to come back. But there's also experiences where they are told that they have to go back, that they are not done yet. They have to go back. And the NDEers argue. They're like, nope, there's no way I'm going back. Not after experiencing this love and kindness and lightness and peace and beauty and laughter and heaven and all this beauty. No, you can't. No, I'm not doing it. And of course, this being does not argue back. And, once the choice is made or they're instructed to return on pretend, individuals often feel as though they are thrust back into their bodies. Some experience a rapid journey through the tunnel, feeling as if they are forcefully slammed back into their physical form. Ouch. Can you imagine how painful that is, especially if, let's say, somebody had a car accident and they like broke their ribs and their limbs and whew. Anyways, all right. Number 11, processing and integration can take years. Some individuals share their experiences only to face rejection, leading them to be placed in a mental health facility. This can cause them to feel silenced and to deny their own experiences. Some people had to deny it just to save themselves from being detained. However, once they feel safe, they open up about their stories and often feel a sense of purpose in communicating the message from the other side. Number 12, a renewed sense of purpose and a commitment to their mission. So I just love talking about the process. I love learning about the process. In the holographic universe, I know I keep bringing that one up. Please read it. It's an amazing book. The first chapter is kind of like hard to get through because he talks about the mechanics of a projector and compares it to wholeness and holograms but once it's really interesting. But once you get past that chapter, oh my god, it's like a universe of information. So the way the holographic universe describes the afterlife, It's described in the most stunning way. And you can even watch NDE stories, and the way they describe it is fascinating. I even have some videos that are accompanied with this video, that you can take a look at. But YouTube has so many NDE videos, and every day they're uploading new ones. But imagine afterlife, right? So imagine opal oceans. Opal, you know, the stone opal. Oh, it's stunning. Which I found out opals are, they come from ancient dried up seas, like oceans, and they're kind of like screenshots, you know, for lack of better words, of the ocean. I think that's so awesome. Anyways, um, imagine rainbow rivers and cities of souls just soaking up knowledge. The holographic universe describes that there are buildings made up of knowledge. Like they're made of knowledge, these buildings. Like, what does that even mean? I can't even wrap my head around it. You know, like there are, you know, cities of gold and just be it's just beauty. Um, everything that you love doing here, you can still do over there. Um, so yeah, excuse me, it's not um it's not like a copy of Earth, it's Earth times a million. It's bigger, brighter, more expansive, more alive. And Earth is described to be dull and flat compared to what's on the other side. And actually, that's something NDEers say a lot, that they've never felt more alive than they do when they're there. Um, and that's why they don't want to come back when they're there, because they just feel lighter, happier, pain free, completely pain free. They feel love, compassion, kindness, and time doesn't work the same. It's all happening at once. Like everything is all happening now. You're just in this expanded awareness, completely immersed in the eternal now. I mean, it's amazing. And, you know, the beauty there is immense. You know, their trees are massive, massive. It'll take you like, I don't know, like 10 years to like, you know, 10 years, whatever 10 years is in the afterlife. But that's how massive a tree is. Like it'll take you that long to like move past it. Um, it's just eternally beautiful. Um, flowers sing, everything radiates peace and unconditional love. The colors, you know, it's like nothing that we have here. Um, people often say, you know, NDEers often say that they're just impossible to describe. Colors that we don't even have here on Earth, they don't even exist here. Yeah, like go ahead and try to imagine a color that you've never seen. I'll give you a second. It's literally beyond the brain. Um, what else? Oh, your pets are there. Your pets are there, and you will be reunited with your pets. Actually, something that I learned was that there are more animals and children in the afterlife than anything else. That's bittersweet. Like, oh, but I'm happy that they are happy in heaven. um, so yeah, just think about, like, imagine like the most beautiful place you possibly can imagine, and then multiply that by infinity, and you still wouldn't even come close. That's how I imagine it. um oh, and then the voice of God is said to be like rushing waters, like a waterfall. or a river, and there are scriptures in it, in the Bible and in the Psalms. Um, and I just think that's so beautiful. It's a beautiful symbol, um, considering the power of water. It's the origin of life. It's like we are made up of mostly water. And, specifically my connection to water. And, since I was a baby, um, I'll share with you my story real quick. When I was 1 years old, we were escaping the Gulf War, and we were in the desert. And my mom found me, mimicking the adults. She saw me pouring water over my head and saying, Yarab, Yarab, which translates to, oh Lord. And that was my first words, was, oh Lord. So my very first words were a prayer, calling out to God. And I don't know if you realize, but a child's prayer is powerful. So my connection to water in the desert, um, saying, oh Lord, oh Lord. Can you imagine a little baby doing that? Um, so yeah, it's just like it all comes back full circle. And I often find myself when I'm at the springs, I'm always just like pouring water over my head, and I'm always saying, Yarab, Yarab. um, so yeah, so there's so much more. But I'll stop here. And if this speaks to you even a little bit, I highly recommend watching some NDE stories on YouTube. There are books, there are articles. Um, you can join groups. It's just, the way people describe the afterlife and like the journey they went on, it'll touch your soul. It will really touch your soul and bring some ease about the unknown. Life review. Alrighty, we're back. I think I said that we would circle back to this. So here we are. And wow, it is something special, life review. Like I said, people who've had a life review describe it like watching their whole life unfold in front of them all at once, like all at once. Sometimes what seems like on multiple screens. Some even say, they look into water and, you know, reflect on, the memories. And they relive every moment, even the tiny forgettable ones. And like I said, it's not just like this passive watch. You feel it. You feel it all deeply from every angle, and it all happens so fast, but slow enough to take it all in, right? So it's happening all at once, but slow enough for you to literally like experience everything. Um, but here's where it really hits. Um, During the review, you don't just see your actions, you feel how they affected others. So you feel the pain you caused, even if it was unintentional. And you also feel the joy that you gave, even in the smallest way. Like smiling at a stranger, like smile at strangers. It's like make it your mission to smile at everyone that you come across. Like even if somebody looks grumpy, smile at them because you don't know how it affects them. Um, so yeah, smile at people. Yeah, it's those everyday moments that end up meaning the most. It's not the money, it's not the titles, it's not the stuff. We don't take any of that with us. What stays is the love. That's it. So, yeah, during a life review, some people feel guilt, regret, shame. embarrassment during their life review because they're witnessing all this in front of light beings, in front of God. And so they're ashamed when they see this, like standing before angels and the creator and being like, oh, yeah, I did that. Oops. It's like embarrassing. But here's the beautiful part: the beings who guide you through the process, they don't judge you. They don't judge you at all. They meet you with nothing but pure love, acceptance, and understanding. And you are the one reflecting and learning. You are judging yourself. And, this is where the healing begins, the real healing. That's where you start to forgive yourself and choose to grow, um, to realize your actions on others, and to, like when you see that you're being held with love and compassion and forgiveness and acceptance, just like, oh, okay, there is a loving power, there is a forgiving source that just loves you so much. Um, and it just makes you want to do better, make better choices. So, let this be a reminder to lead with love, be kind, forgive freely, and just do better when you can. And after this video, I've got a life review meditation that you might really connect with. It's a chance to, revisit and heal the past, similar to what NDEers describe. It's it's powerful. It's powerful work, and like I said, forgiveness is a huge, huge part of healing the mind, body, heart, and soul. And hypnotherapy, like I said, at its core is heart work. It's soul work. It's forgiveness work. It's interpersonal. Like Matthew said, when he was meditating and asked, "What is hypnotherapy?" and he received the message. It's interpersonal. It's all about relationships, and so is life. Life is all about relationships, and these NDEers can come back with that same message. It's all about how we treat one another. So, yeah, okay. So before we move on, I want to share this idea that I had some years ago. I had this funny idea. Me being all creative, and I'm an Aquarius, so we think like outside of the box. I'm Aquarius sun and moon, so I'm like a double weirdo in the best of ways. I love being a weirdo. Anyways, um, I had this idea that what if I left little messages for myself, like for my future life review, right? So I do these air quotes because, like, what is time? What is the future? Like, what is time really in the grand scheme of things? Um, so yeah, like when it comes to the afterlife, everything's happening all at once. So who's to say that we aren't going through our life review right now? Um, anyway, so I I thought to leave myself little messages to cheer myself on from here on earth for when I do experience my life review, like holding up a sign in the mirror that says like, you were loved all along, or like, look, this is the moment that you forgave yourself and it changed everything. So I just think that's an awesome like concept, something to think about. Like, I imagine looking back and in my life review and seeing those little moments with a smile and gratitude, for myself, and those around me, like, oh yeah, I remember leaving that message for myself. And maybe this video right now is one of those messages. Um, so yeah, I also had the idea that, what if we can lighten our life review or bypass it completely through the forgiveness that we do now. So, what if by choosing love again and again and again and becoming aware of our actions and our intentions, that we could soften that whole experience, and that whole process? Because I sure don't want to be experiencing my life review um, and feeling shame and regret. So it's not too late. You can, and with my meditation, you can go back, revisit old pains, old memories, and just offer forgiveness to yourself and to others as well. And I really do believe that forgiveness sets you free. I mean, it's free is in the word forgiveness. It's right there. Um, yes, give me 1 second. Let me take a sip here. Okay. So, like I said, it all comes down to choices. And the choice to be kind, it matters more than we know. It seems so cliche, like, be kind, but it's true. It's like this, that's the only thing that matters. And kindness makes an impact. Kindness matters. Um, I have a good friend, Laura Reese. She uh, has a nonprofit called Kindness Matters. She's such an angel. The first time I met her, I was working at a yoga studio down in South Florida, and she walked in for the first time, and she was just glowing with kindness and love, and she was just like the epitome of kindness. So yeah, so she's doing great work. And another thing I want to share is one of my prayers that I believe is super powerful for me, and I like to share this prayer with others, is I always seek forgiveness. I'm always asking God for forgiveness just for everything. And I always say, God, please forgive me. And if I die before seeking forgiveness, please forgive me anyway. Like, just forgive me. And it's true. Like, any suffering that you have, the answer is forgiveness. There's a story, I forget his name, but he's like a pious man, and people go to visit him, and they'll come with all their problems and issues, and they'll say, "Oh, um, I'm having trouble. Like, I have this illness. What should I do?" And he says, "Seek forgiveness." Somebody else will come in and say, "Oh, my wife can't have a baby. What should we do?" Seek forgiveness. "Oh, my business is suffering. What do I do?" Seek forgiveness. Any suffering, any disease, it's free. You'll find it in forgiveness. Just forgive, 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 forgive yourself, forgive others. We're all just human. We all make mistakes, and we're all just leading each other back home. Life is forgiving, as God demonstrated in the story of Adam and Eve. I truly believe that is the whole purpose of the story, is to show us God's mercy. Ask and you shall receive. When you have sincerity in your heart and you seek forgiveness and love, kindness and compassion with the utmost sincerity, why would Source, why would Creator God keep you from that? I just don't think so. I mean, if God is Source, if God is the provider, and you're asking, you know, God for forgiveness, God is not going to withhold you from that, especially if it's coming from the heart. And it's instantaneous. So, and speaking of instantaneous, I want to touch on spontaneous healing. Maybe you recognize this book. So, spontaneous healing, also known as spontaneous remission. Um, so, one of the most well known stories is from Anita Morjani. She's such a beautiful soul, such a gentle soul. You can just see it from the way she speaks. Um, she's the author of Dying to Be Me. It was one of the very first books that I've read that sparked the interest in near death experiences. So she talks about her near death experience while she was in a coma from cancer. Her body was basically shutting down, and doctors didn't think she'd make it. So she was literally on the verge of death. And she had lost so much weight that she couldn't even lift her own head. It was so heavy. Um, but after her NDE, which she describes so beautifully, I highly recommend her book. It will have you in tears. Um, so, yeah, after her NDE, she just woke up, and within days, the cancer began to disappear. And she experienced a complete healing that doctors couldn't explain. So I think she woke up from her coma on February 6th. Can't remember the year. February 6th, which is my birthday, by the way. And she didn't, and she had a complete healing by February 27th, which is my partner's birthday. Funny enough. And she just had a complete healing. So within like 2 weeks, she was completely healed. And stories like hers remind us that the body is capable of incredible things, and sometimes what we call miracles happen when the mind and the soul align. And Matthew says that miracles are not bound by time, because what is time anyway, right? Everything's happening right now. So miracles can happen spontaneously. And, that's one of the reasons why I love hypnotherapy. I've seen people have their own inner breakthroughs, letting go of emotional pain, healing old wounds, and shifting their lives in the most powerful ways in a matter of 2 hours, minutes even. Like, within the intake, like my clients are already making shifts and breakthroughs during that first 30 minutes during the intake. Like, it's incredible. It's not magic, but sometimes it feels like it. When I was able to facilitate healing for my first cancer, client, my client that had cancer, it was the most fulfilling feeling. Like, I actually got a lot of clients from her, which was so beautiful, and uh, hypnotherapy is powerful stuff. And it's rooted in all of these things that NDEers are experiencing. So, yeah, read this book. It's beautiful. Okay, so NDEs, you and your client. So with the insights you have acquired in this presentation, you can leverage this knowledge to support yourself, your clients, and your loved ones in achieving greater peace. This understanding can empower everyone to progress towards a more fulfilling existence, nurturing love and kindness for ourselves and those around us, right? So I sure hope that by now you see the significant value in all of this, and that you can use this acquired wisdom in your life to enhance your life and the lives of others. So here's some books that you can look into. There are numerous books on the subject, like so many, a lot more than now than when I was, first starting out. And you can easily Google and find, over the years, YouTube has exploded with NDE videos and things of that topic, which makes me happy because, like I said, when I first started exploring this path, I didn't have as much information then as I do now. It just wasn't talked about. It was, it was taboo. And, as I mentioned before, these individuals were at risk for being detained. But now there's, a new story every day that, is uploaded to YouTube. And you can subscribe to a bunch of channels that are dedicated to this amazing topic. And, with this day and age, we have information and knowledge at our fingertips. So it's easy to do your own research um, if you're looking to further your knowledge. All right, conclusion. So you can read this one on your own. But, um, you know, in conclusion, something that near death experiencers really drive home is how much the little things matter, like how we treat one another. Like it's truly all about the small acts of love and kindness, because that's what people remember. That's what people remember. That's what sticks. That's what inspires. That's what heals. And like I said, when you do something kind for someone, even just smiling at a stranger, you can just feel your heart expanding. That's heaven expanding for you. Like that's home expanding. And, you know, like in hypnotherapy, we hold space in a similar way, with compassion, without judgment, just like those light beings, these NDEers talk about in their near death experiences. And as you can see, it's all about interpersonal relationships. Like the school is called the Interpersonal um, Institute of Hypnotherapy, or the Institute of Interpersonal. I got lost there. The Institute of Interpersonal Hypnotherapy, because that's what it's all about. It's all about interpersonal relationships. And if you haven't done the Interpersonal Hypnotherapy CEU course, I highly recommend it. It's really, it synthesizes everything that you've learned. It makes the whole process a lot more simpler, where you can just, get that client straight to where they need to go. So yeah, so it's all about interpersonal relationships. In the Quran, the very last word in the Quran is nas, nas. In Arabic, that translates to mankind. So that's very powerful. It's a reminder that we all need each other, that, one person's suffering is all of mankind's suffering, and one person's healing is all of mankind's healing. It's said in Islam that when one person kills another, it's like killing all of mankind. And when one person saves another, it's like saving all of mankind. So we are all one, just as my book, You Are the Universe, celebrates this oneness, this unity. And if you truly think that the suffering of someone else across the world doesn't concern you, my friend, you are gravely wrong. In fact, it directly impacts you. Remember that. There's so much going on in the world, and it's saddening. And things are happening that you could never even imagine. And if you think that this can't happen to you, it's happening to you right now. So, yeah, this work is just such a beautiful reminder. Not just the work that we do as hypnotherapists, but as humans in general, right? So, like, every choice we make ripples out. And when we show up with empathy and presence, it inspires others to do the same. and to help heal and enlighten humanity and to evolve is essentially what we're here to do, to return home. And yeah, at the end of the day, understanding NDEs and doing this kind of healing work isn't just about helping people feel better. It's about waking up to a deeper sense of purpose and peace and connection. And, I really hope that something in this video spoke to you and maybe even sparked a shift in how you see your own journey too. So if you're lost and you're like, I don't know what my purpose is, I'll tell you what your purpose is. Your purpose is to be of service, to be a servant of love, and to help others home, guide them home to themselves, to their hearts, to love, to connect them to a higher, deeper wisdom. And that's what life is all about. So let's move forward. Okay, let's talk about the life review meditation. So, the life review meditation that I'm sharing um, is something really close to my heart. It was a really powerful meditation. I actually cried, creating it. I just loved creating it because I know it's going to help. I know it's going to help people. Yeah, so it was inspired by what many people describe in their near death experiences, which is a chance to look back, at life from a higher, more loving perspective, right? So there's no judgment. So in the meditation, I'm going to gently guide you to revisit two memories, one that was difficult and one that felt really good. But we don't dwell, we just observe with compassion, without judgment, and you get to feel the ripple effects of your actions. Um, the way others might have experienced you, and really tap into how powerful kindness, love, and forgiveness really are. And yeah, as you move through the process, it's also a chance to let go, of guilt, shame, regret, anything that's been weighing you down, really. Um, and it's just a space for peace and clarity, a way to just understand yourself more deeply and move forward with a lighter heart and a stronger sense of purpose. I think this work is the most important work that I'll ever do, is to help someone just relieve suffering. And when you're going through that life review, think of me. Think of me, because I helped you there. I'm just joking. I know that's ego. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, we came to the end. Congratulations for coming with me on this near death experience. It's truly an honor. It's truly an honor to share this powerful wisdom with you that I've collected for over a decade. Oh my goodness, time is flying. Yeah, I hope you'll join me for the meditation. And if you feel called to connect, I would absolutely love to hear from you. If you just want to say hi, you can reach me at wealthmindhypnosis@gmail.com. You can visit my site at wealthmindhypnosis.com. You can subscribe to my email list. I'm always sharing love notes and just like all kinds of beautiful things. Like your inbox will be, filled with I don't spam, but when I do send out messages, emails, they're so loving and just they come at the perfect moment when you need them. Yeah, and then you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is so like such a safe space. Um, I've been called a safe fairy, which is like, yeah, that's like I'm a safe fairy by trade. So my Instagram, I share really calming, beautiful reels of water. The springs, the Florida Springs, my favorite space to be. And then on YouTube at Wealth Mind Hypnosis, where I share meditations, eye movement therapy videos, and um, you know, even full sessions. Depending on when you're watching this, I have plans to evolve my YouTube page, but my content, grows and expands. So be sure to join along and to be part of it all. Also, if you are um, interested in working one on one with me, you can always reach out. My phone number is on my website, my email. I mean, there's so many ways to contact me. So you can book a session with me, or if you just want to buy my book, or if you just want to say hi, I'm here. My um, inbox, my phone, my text, my email, my Instagram is always open. And if you have an NDE story that you want to share, I would love to hear it. I just love it. All right. Again, I am Sara Ajna, and thank you. Thank you for being a part of this space. Your light is so needed here on earth. So keep smiling at strangers, because your heart is meant to reach others. And I want you to remember that you are a sacred instrument. You are a holy vessel made for extending the power of love. So thank you again, and may peace be with you.